I'll show you what happened here. This is so stupid.
Straight to a Fox News alert, the FBI is ordering a $50,000 reward for information on a masked protester who appeared to fire a gun at federal agents during a major...
The reason why is because the other one was just an interview with two girls talking about some bullshit. I want to watch what actually happened.
California immigration raid yesterday.
Doug Luzader joins us now with the very latest. Good morning, Doug.
Hey, good morning, guys. Another rough day for federal immigration agents in California after facing off with violent protesters yesterday. Dozens of people were taken into custody during immigration sweeps at two farming sites, including a marijuana facility. Tear gas, smoke bombs deployed. Agents were pelted with rocks, and federal authorities...
They got to start shooting them, bro. They do. Like, if you throw a rock at a police officer, that can kill you. This is crazy that they let that. This is the reason why California is a shithole. Is because you have people that think that they can throw a rock at a police officer. A police officer is a civilian. And a civilian has a right to self-defense. A rock is a lethal weapon, and I think if a police officer is hit with a rock, they should be able to respond to lethal force with lethal force. Straight up. This needs to stop. It could kill them? Yes, it does. It needs to stop. W, bootlicker take? It's not a bootlicker take. Do you really think somebody should be able to throw rocks at a person? It's crazy.
Are now on the lookout for a suspect who appeared to fire a gun at them. And now this from the U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, who posted on X. The FBI has issued a $50,000 award for information leading to the conviction of an unknown subject who appeared to fire a pistol at federal law enforcement officers near Camarillo. And here is another shocking detail. According to Customs and Border Protection, 8 unaccompanied minors, all here illegally, were found.
So there were 8 kids that were found working on a cannabis farm during the immigration raid. And all of the protesters were trying to protect the illegal migrant slave child labor. Oh, wow. Ain't that something? That's crazy. Who would do that? Police officers aren't civilians. Let me search that up on Grok. I'm going to look it up myself. Actually, I'll just look it up on Google. Police officers are generally not considered civilians in the context of law enforcement. While they're not members of the military, they're sworn law enforcement personnel. Okay, so you're right. That's actually, okay, so broadest sense civilian is not a member of the military. Okay, within the context of law enforcement, civilian also refers to people who work within law enforcement, sworn officers versus civilians. So it's a gray area. So, okay, that's fine. They're citizens, not civilians. Okay, so no, you guys are right. I won't say that again, or at least I'll try not to. It seems like that's an inaccurate way of explaining things. They're not civilians, yes, but they are citizens, and citizens do have the right to self-defense.
There is now an investigation underway for possible child labor violations, they say. All of this as we await a decision from a federal judge in California who seems inclined now to severely limit immigration enforcement efforts by the Trump administration. This Biden appointee indicating that she may issue a temporary restraining order today, essentially siding with litigants who argue that ICE agents are violating constitutional rights. So far, she says she has only reached a tentative decision, writing, "It is truly a tentative. It is not final. My intention..."
I disagree with shooting people who throw rocks at police. There's a scale of lethality of weapons to rocks. While they can be deadly are nowhere near as deadly as guns. They should be arrested for assault, but I don't believe they should be shot on sight. If someone shot you with a gun while you were wearing a bulletproof vest, do you think that they should be able to shoot you back because you're not wearing a bulletproof vest? Because like if you, like the police officers are wearing bulletproof vests, which makes the lethality of bullets less common and less likely that they will, that they'll get hit by them or killed by them. If someone shoots at you, you should be able to shoot them back, yes. But why? Why should you be able to shoot them back if they shoot at you? Self-defense? Well, no. We'll look and listen. We'll let this person explain themselves. It's proportional force, but it's not proportional because the police have stronger guns. They have better armor. And the person that they're shooting at doesn't have a body armor on, and they don't have those guns. There's absolutely not equal force at all there. It's not even remotely close. The police have a massive asymmetrical advantage, even when it's gun versus gun. Why do we have to pretend that people who are here illegally have any rights or constitutional protection? Look, I don't think they should. I don't think they should. I think we should just get them out. Because guns kill people way more often than rocks do. How many deaths per year happen due to rocks versus guns? Well, how many deaths happen when somebody hits somebody in the head with a rock versus a gun? Right? I mean, like, you're really comparing the two things. Like, it's like how many people steal horses versus steal cars. Well, how many horses are there? How many cars are there? People aren't throwing as many rocks. So the reality is that this point's irrelevant. Once you initiate violence of no kind, you have no right to determine what the right response is. Yeah, exactly. And Goliath, yeah, literally one of the most famous stories in all of human history is how a rock killed a guy by hitting him in the head with David and Goliath. The idea that rocks are not lethal force is a complete lie, and one of the, again, most told and most understood stories in the entire history of mankind is about how a rock killed someone. There is no defense that is justifiable that says that shooting somebody after throwing a rock at them is not totally fair. If someone came to your house and started throwing rocks at you and you shot them, I would want you to not go to jail. I think that's self-defense.
Coming into this hearing, given the urgency and the weight of the matters at issue, is to issue my ruling tomorrow. But she has also said that she does not want to burden what she calls lawful law enforcement activities. And again, that decision should come down later today. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Doug.
They used to stone people to death.
You know, this is also strange, and maybe the strangest part of that ruling right there is the idea that when did federal judges begin giving alerts to how they're going to rule tomorrow, which at some point it starts to make you think that it's all kind of a coordinated effort to give people time to the ACLU to have a press conference, for example.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You know, if this judge does go forward and issues this temporary restraining order, this is the equivalent of a judge making a ruling that the DEA can't go search individuals for drugs and narcotics on Skid Row in L.A. It makes no sense. They're carrying out federal immigration law. And one of the groups in this lawsuit, CHIRLA, the Coalition for Immigration Rights L.A., is been tied to the Alvarado, Texas attack that, where the 10 individuals, and we're going to talk more about that a little bit later. But, connect these dots, and you see what is literally a federal judge now stepping in to say that the federal government can't carry out its duty for federal immigration law.
Yeah, they obviously can. I mean, the federal government overrules the state government. We fought a whole war over that. It's pretty obvious. Per California law, if your house is broken into and you're at home, it's suggested to try and escape. Confrontation with a gun will put the homeowner in jail. Well, I don't know whether that's true or not, but this is what I think you should be able to do. If somebody breaks into your house, you should be able to kill them with no restrictions. Period. That's it. So whatever that law is, that's what I support. Whether it's with a knife, a baseball bat, a gun, a saw, whatever you want to use, if you break into somebody's house, you should know that your life is on the line, even if they try to run away.
The judges are the new face of the resistance for the liberal left. And when they started doing it, Charlie, was when President Trump won office. They did it during his first term with all these nationwide injunctions that were issued. Now they're doing it again during his second term.
What if they're teenagers? Well, then it sounds like they'll never be adults. Parents should have raised them better. Don't care.
But we need to be honest about what Democrats are doing. Their desire is to protect criminals. Yeah. You look at the deportations of these illegal aliens that have taken place under President Trump. 70% have been criminals or individuals pending charges. These aren't moms and kids that the Trump administration are trying to deport. Yeah. They're illegal aliens. They're gang members. They're terrorists as well. And you talked about the Alvarado attack, the ambush against the ICE agents there. They were outfitted in black military-style clothing, 12 sets of body armor, 14 guns, fireworks, spray paint, two-way radios, and anti-government propaganda. What do you think that sounds like they're preparing for?
Well, look at the video just from last night, from yesterday in Camarillo, Texas. It's unbelievable. The one news agency caught on camera what appeared to be, and you can see the protesters.
They gotta do something about this, because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. The more that people are able to do this, the more people will do this. You have to hold these people accountable. You do. You have to do it. What's next? The bombing? Yeah, and you see now, like, you're starting to see more and more people. It's almost every day now that we're hearing about a shooting with these ICE interactions. And I want to rewind 3 months ago to 4 months ago, whenever this started happening and it started heating up. And I said, this is what's going to happen, is you're going to have more shootings, you're going to have more confrontations, etc. It's only going to get worse. Exactly. And so you can't have delinquents throwing rocks. Yes, they're going to escalate. I said it was going to happen, and there it is. Stop calling them protesters. They're rioters. Well, I mean, they're just criminals, right? I mean, that's it. And yeah, peaceful shootings. Is it true most of the shootings and violence happen in California? Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing is with California is that it's also it's the biggest state. It has the highest population in the state. And so because it has such a high population, then obviously you're going to have a lot of incidents happening there, like logically.
Federal immigration vehicles with rocks, that is assaulting. That is textbook assaulting federal immigration, trying to deal with illegal aliens, 10 of which are minors. Now we're talking about child labor violations.
Yeah, they need to go after these people. They got to go after these people. They got to hold them accountable. And I think these people need to protect themselves. Like, really, I mean, like, you're throwing rocks on people. Like, this is, again, run them over. I mean, if they ran them over, I wouldn't care. I mean, if somebody, here's the thing, right? If somebody gets in front of your vehicle and starts throwing rocks at you, I think that you should be able to run them over. Absolutely. Why not use rubber bullets? Because they're not using rubber rocks as a deterrent. Death is a better deterrent than a bruise. That's the reason why.
At this pot farm out in Camarillo. Look at them just pounding that. And then the one news organization capturing video of what appeared to be an individual firing a pistol at ICE, at federal law enforcement. And that, those are fireworks, by the way. This has gotten out of hand. This is a point that when you see this sort of response, and again, remember, this is a warrant that was being carried out. The federal immigration authorities got word that there were these two farms, one of them a marijuana farm, that was employing illegal aliens. They went in to carry out federal law enforcement and round people up. In it, they found out that there were these 10 unaccompanied, 10 underage minors, 8 of which were unaccompanied minors.
Which is kind of interesting. And then,
so they're literally defending child labor.
To have a federal judge then say that
why do so many people in your chat feel like arguing that a rock isn't a deadly weapon? It absolutely is. Because they disagree with ICE. And so they're not really like, so if it was ICE throwing a rock at a random illegal alien, they would say that that ICE officer should go to jail instantly. It's not about the action. It's about who's doing it. There's no actual principle in this argument at all. There's no logic in why it's okay or not. It's just simply, it's okay because it's my side that's doing it. And so I'm going to work backwards to justify why it's okay they're doing it. It's not about if a rock is lethal or not. It's about how much more lethal a gun is compared to a rock. Okay, then don't use a rock. If somebody pulls out a knife out on you, do you think you should have the right to shoot them? Of course. This logic is, again, if you apply this logic in any other situation, it immediately falls apart. It's retarded. There's literally no defending throwing rocks at people.
Rounding people up because they're brown or because the color of their skin or because of the way, because of the language they speak. No, the whole point of a warrant is that you're not doing those things, that you're doing it with actual cause for. And of course, we've been talking about this all week with all of this crazy stuff going on, that at some point, somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And then you have video of a protester firing a gun.
Exactly. Well, and that's what the borders are. You know, Tom Homan has been saying. He's saying, look, this is going to end with someone dying. This is going to end with ICE agents dying. And then what are Democrats doing? You only have Senator Fetterman who is saying, look, this is wrong. We should be calling this out. We should be saying that this is disgusting. No other Democrats are doing that. But what are they doing?
Yeah, that's actually a huge W from him. I'll see if are they going to show the clip of him saying that? No, they're not. I'll play the clip and talk and show this.
Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of migrants here illegally that have convicted of crimes. And why, I don't know why, who wants to defend that, to allow them to remain in our nation through that? And now, if you're here illegally and you're committing crimes and those things, I don't know why anybody thinks that it's controversial that they all need to go.
Do you think that
it's that simple? Yeah, huge W for that guy. I love him. I think he's great. The stroke fixed him. I don't know how that happens.
Senators like Cory Booker
How
doing?
is a Democrat with brain damage the most sane one? Well, the last guy that had 3 brain surgeries was the president.
They're trying to remove the masks of ICE agents, which further puts their lives at danger at a time when assaults are up by 700% on ICE agents, Griff.
Yeah, and Charlie, I think you really
Is
hit
PC
the
rebooted?
nail on the head.
You
And
got the
that is,
reset?
imagine the week. Let me show you. The week we have had in just the first 10 days of July, an unprecedented number of attacks on ICE and federal law enforcement. Let's start on July 1st. In Buffalo, an individual named Matthew White posts on X, "Kill them all. The ICE is the new Gestapo. Stop them." He is facing federal charges for threatening ICE
thank
agents.
God.
Let's go to 4th of July,
Finally.
the Alvarado assault that we were talking about. Lisa was pointing out they had AR-style rifles, they had body armor, they had two-way radios, they had Faraday bags that was trying to conceal cell phone coordinated
Faraday bags are things that block radio signals, by the way.
and premeditated attack. And of the 10 individuals now facing first-degree attempted murder of
Radar.
federal immigration officers, there is an 11th individual, Benjamin Song, on the run, allegedly provided those weapons to the 10 protesters. Then let's go
Organized
down to
crime? Yeah, of
McAllen,
course.
Texas. An absolute barrage of bullets from an assailant on a Border Patrol annex facility in McAllen, Texas, that housed the Special Operations Division of Border
It's crazy how I literally just kept telling people this shit was going to happen. I kept saying this. Everybody said it's not going to happen. It's so frustrating, man.
Patrol, that individual deceased, but it's causing all BP facilities in Texas to get heightened security. Let's go to Tuesday, July 8th, the next day.
Civil unrest
That's
only get
when,
worse,
as you're
yeah.
mentioning, Lisa, the Democrats, led by
You're right.
Cory
It was
Booker
obvious.
and Senator
It was
Padilla,
so obvious.
wanting to unmask agents, while the agents, ICE, federal law enforcement, has said that they are wearing identification of ICE and HSI on them, but they're covering their faces because there are individuals trying to publicly dox these agents, putting them, their families, their spouses, their children at heightened risk. Same day, you've got...
That's absolutely why it's happening, by the way, is that the reason why they want the agents to reveal their faces is so they can dox them. In my opinion, I think that if the agents have to reveal their faces, go ahead. But we have to look at what doxing, like why somebody is revealing this person's personal information. What is the reason for doing that? And the reason for doing that is to put their life in danger. And so I think really, if you want to go after that, that's fine. But you've got to go ahead and hold those people accountable too. The FBI needs to investigate them. Yeah, of course. Gangs will send their shooters. Yeah, sure.
4 arrested out in Van Nuys, California, for placing allegedly tire spikes in the road, puncturing the holes of ICE vehicles, trying to stop that raid. By the way, that raid, a legal raid being carried out by warrant. And the same day, you've got up in San Francisco, agitators confronting ICE outside of immigration court. We have seen that in sanctuary cities like San Francisco, where the authorities will not turn over criminal illegal aliens that have deportation orders, they just turn them loose on the streets. ICE trying to pick them up, but they're getting resistance and being assaulted there. And then finally, as we've been talking out in Camarillo, California, the unbelievable, there's a $50,000 reward. The U.S. attorney out there, Bill Isola.
Who thinks this is going to be the end of the line? Really, this is just going to keep getting worse. It's going to keep getting worse until the police and the federal government grows a fucking spine and they actually hold these people accountable directly and they respond to lethal force with lethal force. That will make it stop instantly. I guarantee you.
Saying that they want to capture that individual that appeared to fire a weapon, fire a pistol at ICE agents who were carrying out a lawful
50K?
warrant. This is the first 10 days of July. If we stay on this trajectory, Lisa, that's
Don't you
why.
worry about how it'll look? I think that's right. They're afraid of the optics of it. But I think that they're afraid of the optics of it, but I think that they're misreading the optics. I think that if they shot these people that are firing guns and throwing rocks at them, I think a lot of people in the country would be happy. I certainly would be. I know a lot of people would be. This is violent, lawless behavior, and it's aggressive assault on a police officer. I don't want these fucking animals running wild in society. We don't have to live like this. And there's no reason to. Civil war, it's not a civil war. You're acting like this is a 50-50 issue. It's not. There's you think there's a big percentage of people that think that they want to throw rocks at police officers? No way. We also don't have any, want to have to rely on an authoritarian state? Exactly. They'll be called fascists for shooting back. Then again, they get called that anyway. Exactly. They're being called the fascist Gestapo anyway. You're not going to lose anything by actually responding to these people. The only thing that they're losing right now is respect from the people that support them because they're not doing what they need to do in order to enforce the law.
Tom Homan is saying that he is, and we're going to talk
to make it worse and create more radicals. Then shoot them too. If anybody is going out, the solution to, so what's your logic? Oh, I guess we can't, I guess we can't make the law and apply the law because people might get mad about it. What are you thinking? Stop pussyfooting. Why are we pussyfooting around with violent people, violent extremists that are trying to assault police officers? This is crazy. It's unbelievable. They won't stop these aggressions unless you justify it in ways they can understand it. Because if you use lethal force, they'll call for martyrdom. A lot like, do you remember what happened with Iran? They were fine with martyrdom until they had to actually have it happen. That's the thing. Everybody is willing to be a martyr until the person in front of them gets martyred.
Him in just a little bit. You know, yesterday on this couch, we asked Secretary Kristi Noem, DHS Secretary, I said, are you worried that you're going to attend the funeral of one of your agents? And she said she thinks about it every day.
I mean, it's just disgusting. And again, you're going to want to tune in for Tom Homan at 6:30 a.m. here.
She will.
A Fox News alert. Chaos in California. Federal agents deploying tear gas while protesters hurl rocks during an ICE raid at a marijuana farm allegedly staffed by illegal immigrants. The scene escalating when a protester seen here appears to fire a gun at the feds. The FBI now offering a $50,000 reward for info on the suspect. All of this comes as we await a ruling by a Biden-appointed federal judge who's expected to curb all federal immigration operations in Southern California. Border Czar Tom Homan joining us now. Tom, I watched that video out of Camarillo, California yesterday and was just mortified. What happened there, and what is
of course it's a U.S. protest. We can all tell that, right?
Your reaction?
Yeah.
My reaction is the same as been from day one. That, you know, people are welcome to protest. They have their First Amendment rights, but they can't cross that line. They can't impede us from doing our job. That's a fact.
You have to look inside the First Amendment. It's freedom of speech, assembly, religion, and also rocks. You got to remember that one.
You can't put hands on an agent. That's a felony. So what happened in California is just another example of protesters becoming criminals. And they've been emboldened by even members of Congress who compare ICE to Nazis and racists and terrorists. I mean, the rhetoric is so high. And I said 2 months ago, it's going to end up with a loss of life. And we had one the other day in Texas. And it's not over. I mean, the rhetoric has to end. ICE agents are simply enforcing the law.
It's not the rhetoric. That's the thing is and also if you want the rhetoric to end, then you have to arrest the people that are saying the things that are the rhetoric. I think that there's nothing wrong with saying that you hate ICE and you think that they shouldn't be doing what they're doing. But when you're calling for shooting them, attacking them, and especially you guys can't even get the people that are throwing rocks under control. How are you even worried about that? How are you worried about internet commenters if you can't arrest the guy that's standing in front of your truck throwing rocks? It's what the fuck is going on here? It's crazy. It's a slippery slope. No, it's not. It's not a slippery slope to say that if you're assaulting a police officer, you should go to jail or be shot. That's not a slippery slope. That's common sense. There's no slippery slope here at all. He's talking about the politicians. Oh, well, that's
which the Congress enacted, that they wrote, they created, and was signed by the president. If people want to complain about the job ICE is doing, then go complain to Congress, because we're enforcing the laws they enacted. We're doing our job.
Hey, Tom, can I just take you back? You just said you had a loss of life in Texas?
Yeah, you had a person attack a Border Patrol facility, firing at the facility, and Border Tac agents.
Right. The individual that assaulted him lost life. Okay, I was just clarifying, making sure you weren't making news there that an agent had lost his life, and that is, of course, the fear. But you talk about those politicians and the rhetoric that clearly seems to be fueling much of this, but you've also got some distortion of the facts. This was a post that California Governor Gavin Newsom put up yesterday. Kids running from tear gas, crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the fields. Trump calls me new scum, but he's the real scum.
Kids are running from tear gas. Why don't you just think about that for a minute, Gavin? Why are the kids at the protests to begin with? Why are they at the facility that's being raided by ICE in the first place? Why are they there? Shouldn't they be in school? Isn't that interesting? Why the fuck are kids there? Yeah, it's crazy how these people don't see what they're saying. It's common sense, but every action has an equal and opposite reaction. If agents justifiably defend themselves and kill a protester, then you have the extremist making more people extremists, so the snowball grows bigger. I don't think that's true. And also, like, to an extent, it is true. But I think that you run out of extremists like that pretty fast, and then things can go back to normal.
We later find out there were 10 juveniles in that operation, that were 8 of which were unaccompanied minors. What do you say?
I see this every day, and I said from day one, when President Trump became president, that they're going to vilify the men and women.
He's not going to acknowledge it's summer? Oh. Okay, no, that's a good point. Yeah, they are on summer vacation. Okay.
They'll vilify the men and women of Border Patrol.
They're working on the illegal marijuana farm as their summer job at like 10 years old. That makes it a lot better. Okay. No, that's a good point.
During the last administration, except this time, the rhetoric's at an all-time high. Every day I get up and I read the media posts
we were kids.
At the White House, and 90% of the stories are just fake. They're lies. So, and people say, well, the polls are kind of turning against Donald Trump a little bit on immigration. First of all, I don't believe it. If the polls turn it off...
The reason why the polls are turning is because he's not getting the results that he wants. And also, they see it's demoralizing for supporters of Donald Trump and for supporters of these immigration raids that the officers that are carrying them out are being bullied and attacked and are being treated as target dummies and punching bags by a bunch of, like, psychos. That's the reason why, is that it's demoralizing. I guarantee you, if you put a few of these people, like, that are throwing rocks, if you shoot a few of them, I think that the amount of support for it will go up. I don't think people understand how fed up everybody is with this degree of violence. It's all emotional manipulation. It is. Yeah, the rock stop. Yeah, and also the rock stop, too. I wonder why. I bet in Florida, you probably don't have as many protesters throwing rocks at the police officers. I wonder why this is happening in California all the time and not Florida. Oh, wait a minute. We know exactly why.
Because all the fake news out there. They're lying about what the President Trump is doing. They're lying about what the men and women of ICE are doing.
It's because they'd be dead. The entire idea that, like, you can't reason with extremists is not true. You can easily reason with extremists. You just have to use a language that they understand.
And that kind of turns, the tide against us a little bit. But that's why members of the administration are out there every day setting the facts straight. The fact is, I read in the paper the other day, the majority of people who arrest are not criminals. Wrong. Look at the data. Go to ICE.gov and look at the data. But we got some media saying, well, it's just a misdemeanor. It's not a felony. They're not really criminal. Oh, they're not convicted. They're just charged. Oh, they're not criminals. No. We're prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats, and that's a fact.
But Tom, it strikes me unbelievable that the Democrats are not on board. When you look at this raid, there were 10 juveniles that were illegally brought across the border. You and I covered this under the Biden administration. I was down in Texas. We encountered 8, 10-year-old, 12-year-olds coming across with just a name and an address and a phone number on their necks, the cartel ruthlessly sending them across. And yet now we know that 10 of them, 8 of which were unaccompanied minors working illegally in a marijuana farm, and your agents go in and...
It's just crazy that people would go and defend, illegal aliens bringing over children to make them work in some sort of fucking field, and this is somehow worth protesting against. It's crazy.
Rescue them, essentially, and yet there is
that's
violent resistance to that. Does that upset you?
It certainly upsets me, and like I said, the work men and women of ICE are doing is incredible. Look, we're looking for over 300,000 missing children. We've already found 10,000. Have you heard that anywhere? No, the media is simply not covering it. And look, this should be a nonpartisan issue. Arresting public safety threats and national security threats, everybody be all on the same page on that. Rescuing children, I mean, it should be a nonpartisan issue. Everybody should be in lockstep on that, but they're not. The media is lying. The Democrats they don't want President Trump to be successful. I got news for them. We are being successful.
Should children be deported? Yeah, of course. Yeah, without a question. I mean, if they were born here, they have I don't agree with retroactively removing birthright citizenship. So if they were born here, then it's a problem. But I think that if they came here as kids, then yeah, absolutely they should be removed.
Every illegal alien public safety threat we arrest makes this country safer. Every national security threat we take off the street and deport makes us safer. And we're rescuing thousands of children. The lives saved every day by ICE, the lives saved every day by Border Patrol, are in the hundreds. So it's the only thing I can think of, Griff, if they hate President Trump more than they love their community. They hate President Trump more than they want, safe communities. And there's just no other excuse why this is not, why this has become a partisan issue to take public safety threats off the street.
And why? That's messed up. Where do they go? I completely disagree. That's not our problem. It's not our problem. We are not the inheritors of the problems of other countries. Somebody sends a kid over here. They were obviously accompanied by somebody. Figure out what that was, and then send them back. This isn't our problem. I mean, we have you understand that it sounds good to care about this kind of stuff, but we have thousands, if not tens of thousands, of kids that are in foster care homes now here. We have kids that are orphans here now. We don't need to import more of these and have more of this as well. Really, we're already overwhelmed with the amount of these that are happening. That are already U.S. citizens. We can't even keep our own shit together. The last thing that we need to do is be dealing with the world's problems like this. This is crazy. There's thousands. Yeah, exactly. It's full.
I run out of time, Tom. I've got to get your reaction to this Biden-appointed federal judge out in Los Angeles, apparently expected today to issue a temporary restraining order halting your lawful operations. She says, I think it's important for the court not to burden otherwise lawful law enforcement activities. Your reaction there?
Look, people need to understand, ICE officers and Border Patrol, they don't need probable cause to walk up to somebody, briefly detain them, and question them. They just need the totality of the circumstances, right? They just got through the observation, get articulable facts based on their location, their occupation, their physical appearance, their actions. A uniformed Border Patrol agent walks up to them at, for instance, a Home Depot. And they got all these articulable facts, plus the person walks away or runs away. Agents are trained what they need to detain somebody temporarily and question them. It's not probable cause, it's reasonable suspicion. We're trained on that. Every agent, every 6 months get Fourth Amendment training over and over again. These officers are really good at what they do.
Not a surprise.
And if the judge make a decision that's against what these officers are trained, what the law is based upon, then they're going to shut down operation. I think that's
why do Democrats care more about illegal aliens than the citizens? That's a great question. I really wish I knew the answer to that.
Game.
Yeah.
They want ICE to stop doing this.
That's a great
If
question.
they base it on the rule of law, they're going to find out Border Patrol and ICE is doing exactly what they're going to do in accordance with law.
And you're not going to stop coming. Tom Homan, thank you for getting up with us this morning.
Yeah, I saw this. I just this is insane to me that this happened, and it's basically the worst possible PR for them that they could ever fucking have. Where they go and how many MS-13 members are waking up at 3 a.m. to pick strawberries? Oh yeah, 0. Yep, there it is. And you see right here the very farm workers that keep America's produce aisles stocked. And these are, again, the children that are being trafficked into the country illegally that are working on a weed farm. And so this is really where we're at, guys. It is insane that this has even happened. Yeah, they're trafficking kids to farm weed. Yeah, we don't need strawberries that bad. Yeah,